present Creative Scene Investigation, Who Killed Creativity? Will you please welcome Andrew Grant.
Thank you. We've heard a lot about change, and I'd like to talk about innovation, but we need to define what innovation is. I mentioned I lived in Bali for 15 years. I did a lot of work with the hotels. We got to know the Balinese. Their attitude was whenever a new general manager came along, he liked to do something different. And the Balinese would just politely go, "Yes, Pak." And they'd nod their heads, and then they'd come to me afterwards, and I'd say, "Are you going to do any change?" Like, "No, he'll be gone in 2 years. Let him do what he likes." So for 20 years, the hotel stays the same because the mentality is, it's just moving too fast. I just can't keep up with it. So in the typical organization, you get that attitude, "Yes, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just going to sit it out because I'm more patient than you, because I'm sure you'll bring in something next year, and then you'll bring in something else the next year." But as they stand still, what we've seen is the change moves forward, and that's the danger. And the problem is that change actually becomes like a tsunami or a bushfire. It is not something you can do after it happens. The creative company, the innovative company, has to predict and see what's going to be out there on the horizon and prepare for it before it happens, rather than after it happens when it's too late. And the word that is being thrown around now is the concept of disruptive innovation, the exponential pace. I heard these guys talk about change. Maybe they were just warming you up to me. What they didn't tell you is that change has actually become now exponential. There is a clock that is getting faster and faster. And the only way we can keep up with that clock getting faster and faster is to innovate faster and faster. So it's not just about change, it's an exponential change. And what we're seeing is that cities are actually moving faster every year. We are getting faster and faster in our growth of our cities, and Dubai is a city on steroids. But in a typical city, we're getting faster and faster. And as a matter of fact, the walking pace of people in cities has been collected over the last 100 years, and we're actually walking faster and faster. Now, when they researched what made a city, a creative city, stand out to any other city, but they came up with in America called the creative class. What was it that made a super creative city? Somewhere like Austin and somewhere like San Francisco. And the three things they came up with to create a class or a culture of creativity within the city or within the organization was talent, number one, you'd expect that. But look at this one. Number two was tolerance. The ability to tolerate other people's thinking, other people's mindsets. And that honed right in on San Francisco and certain communities there. And the third thing that made a city super creative, which Craig talked about this morning, was technology. Now, if we look at these great innovators, we start to see that they came up with concepts that started to cross the boundaries. And this quote by Bill Gates should shake you to your foundations. Banking is necessary, banks are not. But what would happen one day if Google or Apple or Facebook woke up and said, "We want to get into the financial industry"? They could turn it upside down overnight. It's like shuffling it all up in a bucket and then picking the cards out when that disruptive innovation comes through. Except for the companies that are thinking ahead, that are trying to be creative and marrying things and looking for solutions. No wonder when IBM did one of the largest surveys they've ever undertaken 2 years ago, asking CEOs what is the greatest, most important attribute for a CEO and their team moving forward in the next 5 years, creativity or creative thinking came up as the number one skill needed to move forward. So let's move now to the innovative side. We've looked at the ordinary company. We've looked at the disruptive innovation. Now let's have a look at what makes an innovative company. And I think to do this, I might just come down and try another magic trick. Is that okay?